Hi everyone, thanks for joining us and welcome to our Mentally Healthy Workplaces webinar. This is our first webinar in our 18-19 Return to Work Coordinator Workshop series and our very first Mentally Healthy Workplaces webinar. My name is Huda Peters and I'm the Employer Education Advisor at ReturnToWorkSA. We can all acknowledge that the best workplaces are mentally healthy workplaces, and more often than not, good return to work outcomes are derived from positive culture workplaces. But what is a mentally healthy workplace and how do we achieve this? Cue Mardi Weber, a mentally healthy workplace consultant. As her title suggests, Mardi's role is all about assisting employers to implement and promote mental health in the workplace. And today, Mardi is going to provide an introduction to creating and maintaining a mentally healthy workplace. She will do this by informing us why we should focus on a mentally healthy workplace, what it is, what you need to succeed at a mentally healthy workplace, and take us through the tools and resources available to employers before handing it back to me so that I can run you through next steps in summary of what we've just learned. Now, as this is a pre-recorded webinar, you can't ask us questions, but if you are a trained Return to Work coordinator, you can actually join our closed Facebook group, which can be found by searching Facebook for Return to Work Coordinator Portal. And we encourage you to post any questions you might have, and either Mardi or myself will do our best to answer. Or if you want specific help, you can make direct contact with our details to follow at the end. I'll now hand you over to Mardi. Welcome, Mardi.
Thanks, Huda, and welcome everyone who's joined us today. The first thing I wanted to talk about is why focus on mental health in the workplace. And it's important as Return to Work coordinators to think about what are the drivers for focusing on mental health within your workplace, because it can be different depending on the industry that you're in the workplace. So some of the reasons are as follows. There's a high prevalence of mental health conditions in society. About 1 in 5 Australian workers are likely to be experiencing a mental health condition at any given time, and about 45% of Australians are likely to have a mental health condition in their lifetime. Workplaces are a reflection of Australian society as a whole, and therefore mental health conditions are likely to impact on most businesses. So it's about supporting people within the workplace. We also know about the changing nature of work. There's many changes happening in society and workplaces. They're fast-paced, there's lots of technological changes and advances, and people seem to have this 24/7 access where we've got our mobile phones, our computers, and it can be hard to switch off. Change is a key feature of modern workplace, and so this needs to be managed effectively so it doesn't cause undue stress on staff and the staff actually feel supported. Also, by investing in a mentally healthy workplace, this will actually assist you in meeting your legislative requirements, such as WHS, disability discrimination legislation, and also return to work legislation. If you're in a workplace that actually provides services to others, so you have patients or customers, research shows that patient and customers' experiences are actually better when staff feel like they're in a good working environment, they're not exhausted, and they've actually got support from co-workers and management. And finally, the business benefits. Research highlights that the mentally healthy workplace is good for business, and we'll discuss this on the next slide. So PricewaterhouseCoopers has done some research, and they've shown that poor mental health and untreated mental health conditions in the workplace is costing Australian businesses just under $11 billion a year. And this is due to absenteeism, presenteeism, that's when people are turning up for work, but they can't be as productive as they normally can because they're struggling in the workplace, and workers' compensation claims costs. And the good news story is that there can be a significant return on investment as a result of taking action. So the research has shown that for every dollar that you invest in effective mental health initiatives, there's an average return of investment of $2.30. And this can change from one industry or depending on the size of your workplace. So in fact, the return on investment can actually be greater than that $2.30. So what is actually a mentally healthy workplace? So a mentally healthy workplace, it's not just about the 1 in 5 people affected by a mental health condition. It's about 5 in 5 people coming to work. So it's actually about everyone. It's a workplace that benefits everyone so that we can all contribute positively and we're able to do our best work regardless or not if we've got a mental health condition. So to break this down in a little bit more detail, a mentally healthy workplace is one that has a positive workplace culture and where just as much importance is placed on mental health as in physical health. It's one that minimises workplace risks related to mental health. It builds confidence and facilitates good conversations about stress, struggles and illnesses. So there's an open communication about mental health. It supports people with mental health conditions appropriately and it reduces stigma and discrimination. So simply put, it's actually a place where people want to be at work. Everyone's encouraged and supported and they actually feel valued in the work that they do. So you're probably all thinking, well, that all sounds great and we actually want a mentally healthy workplace. And so the next area is to actually think about what some of the actions that workplaces can take. And whilst all workplaces are different, there are some areas that workplaces can take action. So I'll run through these now. The first area is looking at raising awareness of mental health and reducing stigma. So raising awareness of mental health conditions, signs and symptoms. So this could be things like running training sessions in your workplace or providing information. So it might be in your staff room, you've got brochures and information about mental health. You can get involved in mental health events such as Are You OK Day, Mental Health Week, and also promote support services. So for example, if you have an employee assistance program within your workplace, making sure that people are actually aware of that program. Or if you don't have an EAP, what other free support services are available, such as the Beyond Blue 24/7 support service? In regards to reducing stigma, a really good stigma reduction activity is actually bringing people into contact with those recovering from anxiety and depression. So, for example, Beyond Blue has a speakers bureau, which is free, and where you can actually arrange for a Beyond Blue ambassador to attend your workplace. And they can talk about their mental health condition and their recovery process. In regards to supporting individuals in the workplace, this is about providing leaders, managers and workers with the appropriate skills and confidence to approach someone that they're concerned about, have a conversation and provide ongoing support. So managers and supervisors, this might be providing training to them so that they're confident about having those conversations, or it might be about building peer-to-peer support programs like having accredited mental health first aiders in your workplace. The next area is looking at reducing risks, and this is your WHS component. This is thinking about those things in the workplace that can negatively impact on the mental health of staff and taking action to reduce risks. So, for example, it might mean managing workloads to minimise stress, preventing bullying and discrimination, or managing workplace change, just to name a few. The next area is looking at providing effective return to work, which obviously you'd be very familiar with as return to work coordinators. So this includes assisting workers with a mental health condition to stay at work if they can, or if they've had some time off work, actually supporting them back into the workplace through a return to work plan. And this be whether it's work-related or a non-work-related issue. Making reasonable adjustments if needed and providing that ongoing support. So how do you make sure that these actions are actually successful? Well, there are some key or critical factors. The first thing is management commitment. And this is where the leadership team has a shared commitment and belief in the vision and goal of creating a mentally healthy workplaces and role modelling mentally healthy workplace behaviours on a day-to-day basis. Also looking at how you can involve your employees in the workplace mental health program. So for example, in a larger organisation, it might mean the WHS committee being involved, or you might have a separate wellbeing committee with employee representation on that. For a smaller organisation, it might be talking to staff at a team meeting about what's important for them when it comes to wellbeing, or having one-on-one conversations with staff. Once you've then got your wellbeing strategy and plan in place, it's important to keep employees up to date with what's happening and how they can be involved and contribute on an ongoing basis. And finally, it's about building sustainability. And this is making sure that the idea of creating a mentally healthy workplace is not just seen as a once-off event, but like Health and WHS, it needs to be embedded within the organisation and ongoing. So how can it be built into plans, policies and procedures, and how does it actually link with the values within your organisation? So the workplace is an ideal setting to promote mental health and wellbeing. And what we want is employees not to just to be in the workplace, but actually to thrive in the workplace. And a great document in relation to this is the Indicators of a Thriving Workplace by Superfriend. And in 2017, Superfriend conducted a survey interviewing more than 5,000 workers, business owners and managers, and it provides an insight into the current state of mental health and wellbeing in Australian workplaces. The document identifies 38 indicators of a thriving workplace grouped in 4 areas. So the first area is leadership, again comes up. Supported and committed leadership in relation to a mentally healthy workplace. Secondly, it's about a work environment where people feel connected. And this is built on support, trust, fairness, and where people feel included. Thirdly, policies and practices, where there are effective policies and practices that address mental health within the organisation. And finally, capabilities and culture. So people within the organisation have knowledge and skills to support positive mental health and wellbeing. So for example, managers and supervisors have skills and confidence to have those supportive conversations with staff. And it's a culture which encourages open discussion about mental health. The survey also highlighted what the best organisations are doing when it comes to helping their employees thrive. And this is a list of what these best organisations are doing. So employees are friendly and courteous. And this can be as simple as saying hello in the morning and smiling at people, and you know what a difference that makes and you actually want to be at work. Managers are accessible and listen, so there's an open door policy and managers provide genuine time to listen to employees. There's appropriate policies and procedures against bullying and harassment. The organisation prioritises work-life balance. So this is recognising that people do have commitments outside of work, and sometimes there needs to be some flexibility. So for example, if someone's got a younger family, or maybe you're caring for an elderly relative. Organisations also make an effort to help employees find meaning and purpose in their work. So employees really feel like their work is valued and it contributes to the overall purpose of the organisation. And finally, there's this culture of care within the organisation. So creating a culture encouraging those open discussions about mental health. So the good news is, if you are really keen now to look at taking some action, is that there's many free tools and resources that are available. You don't actually have to start off with a blank piece of paper. So I would suggest that the first point of call is the Heads Up website. And this is developed by the Mentally Healthy Workplace Alliance and Beyond Blue, and it contains evidence-based resources. And the website is divided into 4 areas. The first area is in relation to healthy workplaces. And this section is for human resources, WHS, return to work coordinators and business leaders wanting to create a healthy workplace. The second section, as you can see on your screen, is about your mental health. And this is about individuals wanting to take care of themselves. And it includes information about what is good mental health, taking care of yourself, And it even has some information in there in relation to small business owners taking care of their mental health. The third section, as you can see on the screen, is in relation to supporting others. So this is looking at managers supporting their staff, or maybe colleagues supporting other colleagues. And it includes having conversations, starting that conversation. How do you ask the question, are you okay? And finally, there's a section specifically in relation to training and resources. So here you've got personal stories and case studies, education and training. There's actually free online training resources that you can tap into, as well as webinar recordings. So this is just an example of one of the resources that you can download, so developing a workplace mental health strategy document. So I'd certainly encourage you to go to the website and actually have a look at some of these great resources. Other useful resources that I've found beneficial, particularly if you want to know a bit more about specific mental health conditions, the Beyond Blue website has a range of resources to increase understanding of depression, anxiety and suicide prevention. And Sane Australia has a range of fact sheets and guidance material about a broad range of mental health conditions. Superfriend has a range of publications about positive mental health and includes the document that I spoke about previously, the Indicators of a Thriving Workplace. And Safe Work Australia has recently released the Work-Related Psychological Health and Safety Guide. And this provides greater clarity about what are the laws or requirements in relation to psychological health and safety. And this is both from a prevention, early intervention and a return to work perspective. So I'd encourage you as return to work coordinators to sign up to both the Heads Up website and also Superfriend's newsletter. And in that way you can get regular and updated information about mentally healthy workplaces. And finally, we also have some resources on our ReturnToWorkSA website. And if you type in the search button, Mentally Healthy Workplaces, it will take you to web pages, which talks about my role in more detail and provides links to tools and resources. I will now hand you back to Huda.
Thanks, Mardi. That was a great introduction, and I'm sure we've given a lot, and we've been given everyone a lot to think about. So now that you've heard about what a mentally healthy workplace is and why workplaces should take action, what could your next steps be? Well, firstly, Mardi has given you a lot of resources, so start there. Go onto these websites and tools and do your research. Think about realistic areas of action your workplace can take and build on these. Remember, you don't have to do everything at once. So now you know the benefits of a mentally healthy workplace and you've got some great ideas. But how do you get leadership buy-in? Perhaps think about putting a business case together. You know your workplace best. What do you think executive will go for? A tip? Start by focusing on the free resources. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money for you to take action. Thirdly, discuss ideas and promote mental health initiatives within the workplace. Put some posters up. Encourage workmates to have a conversation. Are You OK Day is in September every year and is a great and easy initiative for workplaces. If you're a return to work coordinator, have a look at how work injuries are perceived around the workplace. Do you focus on early intervention and relationships? Or are you a little bit more compensation focused? No one wants to be injured, but that doesn't mean the recovery and the return to work has to be a negative experience. And if you need a little bit of extra help, ReturnToWorkSA offers plenty of free education and support. In fact, in February and March, we'll be delivering a 2-part program about wellbeing in the workplace. And in April, we'll be running a workshop all about how to communicate with individuals who are going through a particularly difficult time called Being Okay with Not Okay. This might even be a great opportunity for your managers who might need a little bit more confidence having these conversations. So get onto our events page for more details and to register. Thank you again for listening to today's webinar. We hope we've been able to provide you with some helpful guidance on how to create a mentally healthy workplace and have equally empowered you to take action or at least open up a conversation. If you've got any questions or comments and are a Return to Work coordinator, feel free to leave your questions and your feedback on the Facebook page if you feel comfortable to do so, or contact Mardi and myself on the details on this slide. Thanks again, and we hope you have a great day.